Here's you with your little desktop. You type in your web browser www.womenanesthesiology.org. The first thing that happens is it sends it out to a DNS provider. DNS is basically like a phone book. It says, hey, I want to go to www.anesthesiology.org. Where is that at? It's like, hey, I know about that. Go talk to, I don't know it, but go talk to the person who is the authority of this record, which is GoDaddy. All right. And GoDaddy has all the information. It says, yeah, hey, I own that domain. I own www, right? But I don't host it. I just own it. So if you want the content, here, it's at the address 1.2.3.4. Okay? So it goes back to your computer here. And your computer says, great. Now go get me the pages at 1.2.3.4. That's not the address, but just play with me here. So your browser goes out to 1.2.3.4 and says, knock, knock. Hey, I heard you have a web page for www.womenanesthesiology.org. And says, yeah, I do. What do you want? He's like, I want to view that page. And so then that place starts serving the content back, which is your pictures, your text, etc. And it looks on your screen. This all happens behind the scenes. All you do is you type the address in, but all this other stuff's happening. So GoDaddy is where you can say that, hey, our website, anesthesiology.org, is no longer at 1.2.3.4. Instead, whenever we make a change here, we're going to say, no, now it's at 8.9.1.2, right? And so when you go to your new address, it's going to send it to a new server, which will be your, where you guys hosting at Apricot?
No, well, at Apricot, yeah.
Right? And Apricot's going to say, hell yeah, I got that content for www.anesthesiology.org.
Okay, so what is...
And then it's going to serve it back, right? So then this guy never gets a request, never serves it out. So you can just like nix that and it's died on the vine. Now, if you want to change the content here, you need access to this provider, which is WP Engine, right? And WP Engine, how it serves the content is it's using WordPress. WordPress is just a framework. It's almost like Wix, like Squarespace. It's a drag and drop WYSIWYG to build a website. You can build a website in code, but WordPress was the first one that made it really drag and drop-ish. It's basically saying, yeah, I can write a document in Word. I can write a document in Google Docs. It's the same thing. It's just a document, right? That's what WordPress is. It happens to be hosted on WP Engine, right? So what you're doing is you're switching your hosting provider to Wild Apricot. In order to tell it to go to Wild Apricot versus WordPress or WP Engine, you're going to say, hey, I want to get my content from Apricot versus WP Engine. You're going to change the DNS, which is owned by GoDaddy. In reality, you should probably get rid of WP Engine. You should also get rid of GoDaddy, and you should host your DNS provider. So when you go to ask who owns my DNS, that should probably be Google, because you have a already existing Google domain account for your email is owned and hosted by Gmail and your docs and etc. Put your DNS there as well, because one, it's cheaper. It's like $8 a year versus whatever you're paying over GoDaddy. I think it's like 22. I mean, it's negligible. But then you have full control over everything with better ability to delegate accounts in Google.
So how do we get access to that founders at womenanesthesiology.org? Because is that the main account that owns, like, that created the info at and all those other sub accounts?
Yeah, so the first account that was created on Google for that business account of womenanesthesiology.org was founders. And as the first account, it gets permission of owner. So owner...
Is that why I can't reset the password? Because yes, that's the owner.
Owner account is equal to a God level account. It does everything, right?
So if that's the founder's account, that's why I can't reset anything.
Right. So that's like the crown jewels. So Google protects that at all costs. Now from owner, the owner account, you create sub accounts such as info, right? Info has like admin ability. So info can create child accounts. So like, like Kristen, I saw Lena, I don't know who else is on there, but anybody who has like an at.
So we could have like a president ad, a treasurer ad, a this ad.
Yes. So info has the ability to create that. But there's a account that's even stronger than info, and that account is founder at.
And that's why Google is requiring all these hoops to jump through.
Right. So Google's protecting it, which it should. That's why you trust Google. Now the problem is all these other services such as GoDaddy, WP Engine, they all reference founder. I tonight was able to tell GoDaddy that the actual admin who can make DNS changes, who can change to 8.9.1.2 is now info. So we have access to change GoDaddy to move you to Wild Apricot. However, to have full control over this whole WIA mess, we need to get access to founder because that's a God level account for your entire domain, everything. So if for some reason somebody had access to founder, whoever it is, all of this can come crumbling down. They can reset everything and take control. More importantly, that owner account, that founder at womenanesthesiology.org, whoever has password access to it, can go in there and shut down womenanesthesiology.org entirely. They can delete it. It goes off the map. They delete it, everything. Or they could redirect it to a scandalous porn website that you type that in and you see salacious photos. So having ownership to the founder at Women Anesthesiology is paramount. Because no matter what you do, there's somebody with greater access than you.
So presumably that's what Reka had set up as the original, like...
I don't know who set it up.
Because that's, remember on GoDaddy, that was that email that was there with her name?
No, because she could set up GoDaddy and just reference that.
But it wouldn't be this, like, abandoned people.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really know who it is.
Because they came on board just to build the website after we already existed.
It sounds like the abandoned people or contractors, somebody contracted out, and somebody who didn't have access said, hey, here's all our passwords, you figure it out. And they did it. And that's not the way to go forward. What you should be doing is doing sub-accounts. So founder is protected. Founder, when we get access, should be a password shared amongst like 4 individuals. 4 of the founding members of Women Anesthesiology. No matter what happens in their careers, if they go on to retire, before they decease and die, they should maintain access. They're the founding people. Now from there, you're going to have a president the president ad account, which will be the next level, and that is succeeded and handed over. Those keys are handed over from one administration to another, and then you can have VP, or I don't know how you guys have it hierarchy wise. But
you could have the general info at that we use as our general email.
Right, and these people should be admins, but they should not be owner. Founder is an owner level account, which is again a God level account in Google land. But these people are admins. So no matter what, even if the president runs amok or something happens, you want to get rid of them, those 4 people who have access to founder can then wipe that off and fix it, right? But those 4 people should be trusted. Like this account should be printed on a 3.5 by 11 card and stuck in their safe in their house somewhere, right? It's important, but it has to be 4 people so that way if somebody forgets it, loses it, their house burns down, or they get hit by a car, there's another 3 people who would have access to it, right?
And then once you get access to that founder account, you can always go back in there and be the key to reset like the present email or all the sub accounts from it.
For sure. And in fact, the founder can also eliminate the other 3 people and have total access. So you make sure you have checks and balances in play that all 4 of you have to be there to agree upon a password reset and change. Now from there, you guys are gonna have people that need to do things on your website to like come and go. Like you're gonna have different web admins, different people providing content or running meetings or doing events. And then these people can create what's called user level accounts. And those people just have a single function. So say somebody is just in charge of marketing. That's the only role they have. Then you have somebody who's in charge of events. I know they're similar in nature, but you can create them as separate. You can have another person who's in charge of, I don't know, just like
finance.
Yeah, great.
PayPal, like
finance.
Payments.
Yeah, and those are different accounts. So that way you have compartmentalization that if this person ends up being a bad individual, they can't take that entire organization. You just eliminate that person and then you recreate it to somebody else.
Instead of creating 10 different Gmail accounts, we're creating these 10 different accounts under the @womenanesthesiology.org like brand.
Right, and each account has a separation of duties. So somebody in finance, that account has access to PayPal, but that same account, like say finance and women's physiology, is not used for your PR person, or not used for, like, say you're doing your events through, who do we do events through? Like, what's that, schedule, Survey Monkey or things like that. So that's where you'd use that account, but you're not going to use the same finance account. Finance account is going to be isolated to like Stripe or PayPal or whoever your payment provider is, right? And so you have these different accounts that if one account were to get compromised, the whole house of cards doesn't come crumbling down. You eliminate that one, you reset, you move on, you move forward, right? But at any point in time, you need a hierarchy of individuals, like a council, like imagine like a board of directors who really never use this account other than to change the president to the next president, right? Because say the president doesn't hand over a succession of duties, well, the founders can wipe that person away. There's no way the president can take everything down. The only person who can take everything down is that top tier, and because you guys are an organization, that has to be like a board or council. Or
So that's why Google will not allow us to reset that password, and why we have to jump through all these hoops and all this stuff.
Yeah, basically Google's short of making you submit a photo and a blood sample to get access to that account, which is what they should.
Pretty much have offered all of that, but
I mean, that's who you'd want to protect it.
Well, yeah,
if it was this simple that I can get into it, then it'd be weak. But you need to figure out who has access to that account, or get Google to trust you guys enough.
So that's why we need to go back and re-get those answers. But that's why, okay.
Yeah, but as far as all this other stuff goes, if you guys are moving to Apricot, we have pathways to change this hosting provider over to Apricot. We also got access to this guy.
So we don't need that WordPress engine anymore.
But this WordPress engine, from what it is the owner or God level account to here is Bandon, sorry. Bandon. And he, either you guys paid him and then he outsources to this person in over.
Oh no, that Fongwan was our web person, but he's the only one that has access to WordPress engine.
So whoever Fongwan, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it, he even is just a lower level account. He's a user, and Bandon Systems is the owner of this whole domain, which is wrong.
But he still has nothing to do with anything about the founder's email. They're just on the WordPress.
I don't know. Like they could not. I don't know. I don't know who had what type of relationship. Either maybe Bandon set up your original Google stuff and they have access to it, or maybe a former president or somebody else said, you know what, I want to deal with this, and gave Bandon access to that account, and they reset the password and they're holding it under lock and key for blackmail or for ransom. I don't know. There's all these things that could happen. Right now, the only thing I know is we don't have access to the God level account for the Google, which is
for the @womenanesthesiology.org.
Yeah, and that's like, you can reset everything in this whole house of cards just with that account. So getting access to that account is key. But the level accounts we do have, you can switch over to Apricot if you're willing to let that other content just die.
But we still need access to founders.
Yeah, you probably should, because this whole thing's a mess.
Okay, thanks.